Okay, let's talk about climbing now. Now, this is a sport that's gaining popularity after featuring at the Olympics. I've tried it, it's fun, but it's hard. But now, some of the sports enthusiasts are starting to ask about the environmental impact of their beloved activity. We spoke to two inventors based at Motion Lab in Berlin, which is a hard tech hub. Now, they're developing a new kind of climbing hold. Those are those little blocks that you put your feet and hands in to hoist yourself up the wall. The team behind this project, which is still in its early days, says it's an eco-friendly alternative to the typical plastic climbing holds.
Climbers are the ones who are really trying to protect the environment. We care for nature.
We want to bring sustainable alternatives for the climbing industry because it's a community that actually cares about the environment. I love climbing. It's kind of therapy for me. So it's you and the wall and that's it. Hi, my name is Manuela.
My name is Marta. Even though we are architects, one of our really big passions is to climb.
Every time you go to the boulder club or even if you go outdoor climbing, you go with a group, you have this community feeling. It's fun. Someone supporting you there, cheer you up, not to fall.
It's a lot of people eager to do this sport, which is amazing, but that means that a lot more gyms are opening every day.
Most of the equipment, it's relying on plastics, and this leads to a massive consumption of climbing holds, which means there is a massive amount of plastic waste.
We really want to make like a whole change in the whole industry because it's needed, and the only way to push forward is actually make it yourself.
We're using mycelium, that is actually the root of mushrooms, to develop a new material.
Mycelium in rye, and it's gonna be the food that we are gonna put into our substrate. Our secret recipe at the moment. And this is how it looks like once the mycelium has grown inside.
So the way we get mushrooms into climbing holds, the whole process basically starts with taking a sample of the mushroom we want to use. We grow that in a special preparation called agar, where you let the mycelium of this mushroom grow. Then you transfer this to a first substrate that is a kind of food for the mushroom. You let it grow. You transfer this to a mold. In our case, what we are doing is we are 3D printing our molds with either recyclable or biodegradable filament. So a small mold for a foothold, and then we're going to transfer some of our mycelium into it and let it grow.
So we will put this in our growing tent for 5 days, and the mycelium will grow inside, and then we will have a material that it will start looking like this. You see here all the substrate is combined together with the mycelium, which is the white part, and I will show you the next step, which is after letting it grow, we will heat it up, and the material will turn into something like this, and you can hear now it's strong, it's hard compared to how it was before. So now we are gonna drill some holes, so we are gonna be able to put this into the wall afterwards. Once you dry it out, there's no problem with it.
In the beginning, people were a bit skeptical about this application for the material, so that's where we come in and try to push it and show that if you have a better recipe, you can make it stronger, and then if you have a proper coating or another material to combine it with, then you can have actually a really strong material that could be applied for the climbing holds.
It's not about bringing just a product, it's also making a statement that we need to do something better for the environment. And right now we have a product which is 98% made out of mycelium, which is completely bio-based and can be recyclable. We are almost there to be perfect, so yeah, stay tuned because they will come out soon.
It's often said that the eyes are the window to the soul, but throw in a spot of AI and there's so much more that can be seen in them. An estimated 20 million eye tests take place in the UK every year, vital for getting the right specs, but these increasingly available retinal scans could one day delve deeper into your health too. They can already identify signs of conditions that can lead to blindness. But now, research at UCL Institute of Ophthalmology and Moorfields Eye Hospital is investigating whether AI might help us pick up other diseases this way too. And it's created a whole new potential field of diagnostics with its own name.
Oculomics. And this is a new term that we've coined just to describe this ability to use the eye as a window to the rest of the body. Just from looking at a retinal photograph, with the retina as like the nerve tissue at the back of the eye, just from looking at that, you can predict their weight, you can predict their blood pressure.
But it's even more impressive than that. There are indications that scans can predict signs of Parkinson's disease on average 7 years earlier than a regular diagnosis.
I went to the doctor and I said I don't feel very well. She sent me off to see the heart surgeon, and so they had my heart done, and for a year and a half I wasted the time I could have been diagnosed.
Perfect, Angela. If you just keep your forehead against the bar.
Angela has Parkinson's. She had to wait years for a diagnosis. But if technology like this had been used, it may have been spotted earlier, as she was already being treated by Professor Pierce for macular degeneration.
What would you have been able to do differently?
I would have been able to go to speech therapy earlier. I'd have been able to go off and do something that I wanted to do, maybe go around the world. But I wouldn't go like this. I just generally enjoy my life a bit better. Planned it.
And this is how simple a scan to potentially be able to find out all of that actually is.
You'll see a bright blue light. I just want you to look straight into that bright blue light. So Laura, we're looking at your scans right here, and this looks completely healthy and normal. These are the individual layers of the retina that we can see at the back of the eye. The inner layers go straight to the brain, and so often diseases that affect the brain will turn up right here at the front of the retina.
The layers shown by this equipment are 1 micron thick. That's 1,000th of a millimetre. Subtle changes are hard to spot, and that's why you need a large set of data to compare. In this case, 2 million anonymised eye scans from Moorfields, and of course the huge power of AI. And if other data sets are linked, then of course the possibilities could become bigger and bigger.
One of the things that we've been able to do is take all the data at Moorfields Eye Hospital, and we've been able to link it with national NHS databases. And so we can see that if someone has had an eye test done in Moorfields and had one of these retinal scans done, but if they've moved to Grimsby and had a heart attack, or moved to Liverpool and had a stroke, or any systemic disease, because we have this national linkage, we've got the perfect data set to be able to train and develop these AI systems. If we can begin to pick up systemic diseases like this when you go to an eye test, that has massive implications for screening and prediction of disease.
The team's now conducting further trials to see whether oculomics and the power of AI can predict strokes, heart attacks, inflammatory bowel disease, lung problems and more.
How do you feel about AI?
I feel it's the way forward, and we'd be very stupid to ignore it. I know it's got some bad press, but most of it is good press. And in a way, if it helps you get a diagnosis earlier and get the right treatment and make you sort of better, what's to not like?
And hopefully for this sort of use, many others might agree with Angela. Parkinson's and the other diseases that could become identifiable like this affect so many, and early diagnosis can make a huge difference to treatment and outcome. Well, that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon.
And there's more